Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host, Matt, and with me this week is Mike.
What's up, player?
And Unoclay.
Hey, what's up, players?
See, mine was cooler. Mine was like La Playa, but I was making it American. So, like, people are like, oh, this guy's cool, player. And then they see yours and it's like,
hey, what's up, players?
You should have been like, hey, kids, how's it going?
Yeah, with my red clown nose and bobbit.
Yeah. So,
I couldn't think of anything funny. So, John's.
So, we'll start off with what we've been playing this week. I was playing games I don't usually play, which are mobile games. And the only reason...
Alright, Matt, you're off the cast.
I know, I'm such a scrub. The only reason I actually played mobile games this week was because I got really sick one day. And I was basically just sleeping on the couch literally all day. And then the next day I was still like, I had a headache and I couldn't really get up. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to play any console games because I got nothing to play. So whatever, I'll go on the App Store, find what's here, because I'm sure there's something I can waste time with, besides watching YouTube videos. So I found this one game called DC Legends. It's with all the DC characters and whatnot. I saw a trailer for it on it. It looked like it was some kind of RPG. I'm like, whatever, I'll try it out. It's garbage for one thing. There's too many text boxes. It's just like, okay, shut up and just get to the thing. I get it, you're building some lore or whatever, fine, I'm just skipping through it. I don't have time for this, even though I'm just sitting on the couch. I don't know if the patience for it. So I go to win it. The battle is like, I don't know, 10 seconds long? Well, not that long. It's like a minute, it's like 90 seconds long. Something really stupid and short. And I'm like, okay, this isn't really fun. You have one of two attacks, which is like, I don't know, regular attack and one that uses like mana or energy of some kind. Like this is crappy already. And then after I finish the battle, it does all this tutorial stuff, and I see there's a gauge at the top, and it removes some, like, gems or whatever. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I went through a battle, and now I'm losing items. What is this garbage? So it takes me through all these tutorials, and for people who don't know, mostly Unoclay, what mobile games do to compensate... Hey. No, just because you don't know. What mobile games do to compensate for being a free game is they'll have microtransactions, and how they work in microtransactions are they usually have a specific kind of currency, usually gems. In this case, they got some other stuff. I'll get into that. But basically, you can buy a pack of gems to kind of like speed up your game in some way or help you in a way, because either there's a time limit or they just make the game in a way that would kind of push you towards buying more, because they just structure the game in a way that would make you want to try to buy stuff because it would take too long or it'd be too hard or annoying or whatever. So that's usually how they get you. They get you to try to buy packs of gems. And that's usually fine. Sometimes it can be obtrusive or really in your face. But what this game does is it doesn't only have one type of gem, no, it has 4 types of gems. So if you go into a battle, and you finish the battle, you lose a specific type. If you want to buy characters, that's a different specific type. If you want to get like energy, that's another specific type. And then there's like a 4th one I didn't even know what the heck it was for. So rather than just having one consolidated unit that you could just say, oh, I'll buy $10 worth and then I can just use this on whatever I want. No, you have to buy like 4 different kinds and go to this store. I'm like, are you kidding me? Spent like 5 minutes on this game. I'm like, this is garbage. Worst mobile game ever. I'm like, I expect mobile games to use like microtransactions a lot, but I'm like, has to be the worst. Like, it's so convoluted that even if people wanted to pay money, they're just like not going to, because it's so like messed up in this web of tangles. It's so stupid. I couldn't.
Is this a DC Comics like licensed product? When you say DC, wow, that sounds awful. If you guys like stuff like that, you're gonna love casinos when you start gambling. Like, it's pretty much like, give me your money, repeat.
Oh yeah.
Give me more money, repeat. Like, once in a while, have a little fun for like 30 seconds. I mean, I'm not a terrible gambler, so I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you're gonna love it.
I'm a pretty bad gambler. If I don't win, I get mad.
That's not a good thing.
I should always win. That's the problem.
That sounds terrible, Matt. That sounds like worst game of the week. Worst game of the week, mate.
Yeah,
definitely.
If I'm not winning, Matt, yeah, what do you call it? I have this mobile game called Piano Tiles on my iPhone, and I just want to play it because at Dave & Buster's, I usually get the top score there when I play it, and I'm like, man, this is fun because it's a giant piano, and I used to play the piano. So I'm like, yeah, I'm addicted. Let me get it on my phone. Bro, once you play it once on your phone, you're like, alright, you have to watch 5 ads, 30 seconds each, just to get another diamond so you can play another song. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Why? Why?
I won't even watch TV because there's commercials in it. I'm not joking. I will not watch television anymore. I'm like Netflix only, Netflix or bust. I'm like, and the idea of my head exploded a tiny bit. Like, just hearing the idea that you'd watch an ad to play a game.
They force you. You don't have any choice. Like the screen goes black and you're like, why? And then I just close my phone and delete the app and I go, it was fun in my head.
That one song, man. I'll never forget the one song before I delete it.
I'll never forget that freemium song I played.
Yeah. Mary had a little lamb.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'd rather pay premium price like right off the bat if I was going to play a game than deal with that. I'm not even joking in the slightest. Like I hate commercials so bad. It's like I could never watch sports even if I liked them because like when I'm at someone's house and they have like sports on, I'm like, how do you like explain this to me? How do you do this? You watch this thing and then every 2 minutes it gets interrupted with like talking about stuff I don't want, like Bed Bath and Beyond, like. Perfect. I want to look at that for 35 seconds. That's nuts. I've heard of the microtransactions, commercials in the game. Yikes.
I'm kind of the opposite with mobile games because I'm like, yeah, sure you could pay money and maybe it won't be structured in a way that would be, kind of push microtransactions hard, even though honestly it probably still will. But as soon as I see a price, I'm like, no, not bothering with it. I'll only look for free stuff. But that's because when I ever look at mobile games, I'm like, I'll play this literally once and then I'll drop it because I don't usually use my iPad for that. I just use it to watch YouTube videos or something. So I have such a low care for apps. I'm just like, if it's not free, I'm not bothering with it because I'll never actually use it after.
Yeah, I guess I would never I hear what you're saying. I've never dabbled with that stuff. I guess I would never download a game I wasn't pretty suspicious I might like. Mm-hmm. I guess that's the difference I have with it. Cause even on the eShop on Nintendo is the closest thing I can come to with it. And it's there's all those games that are 99 cents and they're they're probably garbage, but I won't even lie and say there's some of them that sound kind of interesting, mm-hmm. But I won't even pay that 99 cents cause I'm I'll be mad at myself then because I want to quit. But unlike what you're saying and throw it away, I'll just want to play it. I'll be like, I have to play it. I paid 99 cents for it. I got to get 10 hours out of it for that price. Holy crap. So I think we got someone else just joined the podcast and someone else just jump in the room here.
Yep. Yeah, I am here.
What?
I'm alive. I'm playing Pokemon right now. Sorry. It's just, you pick up the game and it's man, oh man, I'm playing Pokemon, so I can't stop.
So I'm more curious. You said you're saying, I'm getting Pokemon on Monday. Which one should I play? Is that not a bit too close when the game comes out Friday, and I'm assuming you want the review out then?
Yeah, so, yes. So first of all, I'm going to send you embargo details. Please don't post this podcast until tomorrow, because that's when actually you'll see reviews tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't post until Tuesdays.
Okay, so, and I'll send you a specific time because I think there's a timestamp for it too. But, so reviews were sent out. The people got copies on Thursday or Friday. Mm-hmm. And then Sean gets the copies and he had to send it to me. So I only received the game today. Yeah. Embargo is tomorrow. So any reviews that you see tomorrow, they've had for 5 days. Okay. And, I'm trying to work in the same schedule. I think that I'll be able to get reviews out Friday. Because, It's usually about a 30-hour game. I put in 6 hours a day. I'll have it out Friday. And I think I can do that just because, it's Pokemon, so I can put that over other elements of my life right now. Nothing's important really other than Pokemon. Now the election's over, and might as well enjoy Pokemon while I still can.
At least they waited until that.
Yeah, at least they waited until exactly.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't have been able to review it otherwise. So I can talk a little bit about it. It's funny, the embargo. Do you guys remember when X and Y came out? I think it was Jack DeVries, or was it Black and White? Jack DeVries reviewed it for IGN, and they did a blocked out review because the embargo was so specific on what you could talk about and couldn't talk about.
I think I remember that. Jack was the best reviewer there, man. He killed me. I think I remember that.
Yeah, so he blacked out everything that wasn't okay, so the review was like half written.
Oh my gosh.
And it's funny because they sent me a list of stuff I'm not allowed to talk about. And then they gave me certain Pokemon I'm allowed to talk about in the review and certain Pokemon I'm not allowed. Well, they gave me the Pokemon I'm allowed to talk about in the review and everything else is not okay. I'm not allowed to talk about the number of new Pokemon. I'm not allowed to talk about how to evolve Pokemon. I'm not allowed to talk there's a very specific guideline here. How much video I'm allowed to capture.
It's to cut you off. It sounds weird because they've publicly officially shown off basically everything at this point. So it's you're not allowed to talk about these things we've officially talked about. It's okay.
Well, it's funny because one of these is no map information. I'm not allowed to show in any video any sort of buildings or maps or anything relating to geography in this game. So I don't even know what they've shown this. I'm not allowed to.
This is crazy. This sounds like some kind of embargo or something.
It is an embargo. Well, I'm not telling you what this is. I'm just telling you what I'm not allowed to reveal. So that's fun. And obviously there's just a list of Pokemon I'm allowed to talk about, but so the game so far.
You're allowed to answer questions if we ask you. Are you allowed to talk about it? Are you allowed to answer?
Yeah, I can answer as long as I don't talk about these things that they told me not to talk about.
Well, the funny thing is, because you just started, everything is probably fair game because you're not that far into it.
Yeah.
You haven't reached the point where an embargo actually
Yeah,
applies.
I can only talk about stuff up to a certain point in the game, and I'm definitely not there yet. I've only played for an hour and a half. So I can mainly talk about presentation stuff, how it looks.
Important question. I don't know if we've gotten to this point. Have you looked in the options menu? Because I'm wondering if you can turn off whether a move shows up as super effective automatically or not. I don't even remember how it works in the game.
Yeah. So it does show you
which is effective,
super effective or not. And in the options menu, where's the options menu? There it is. No, you can't turn that off.
Oh well. I'm guessing it's something after you use a specific move on.
It'll just tell you if a move is super effective or not very effective before you had to memorize that. I don't know. I think that's fine. I don't really mind that being there.
It's really small, man. You don't really really small. You'll notice it if you want to, or you can pay it no mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A little small text.
Yeah, you'll barely notice it. Other stuff. Okay, so embargo is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. So there you go. Also, so I thought the presentation is really nice. There's no 3D in the game, of the use of the 3D feature, but the environments are all 3D. I really love it. Because if you played any other of the Pokemon games, it's very grid based. Very I don't want to say organic design, very standard design in terms of here's a map, here's a pathway.
Yeah.
It's all very square. And this isn't. And I really appreciate it. There are hills, you can run up. It's very 3D like, even though it literally doesn't use a 3D. Very much 3D like in terms of how the map is designed. It's very fluid. the grass streaks are not square. It's like, it looks like it's natural.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate. It's just kind of, there's going to be a section of grass. And yeah, I think it looks gorgeous. It's really, really impressive. So I don't know. What else do you want to hear?
I don't really think I have any questions. You can just say your experiences.
Yeah, I'm surprised at the number of Pokemon that already exist are in the game in terms of, I'll be running around the beginning section. Usually in every other game, there's like 2 Pokemon, 3 Pokemon that are new in the beginning section. And here they're actually like Pokemon from other regions, and a lot of them in the beginning section. Like in the first patch of grass, there's probably like 6 or 7 different Pokemon you can catch, which is really nice. Stuff that that's kind of an unorthodox direction for Pokemon.
Yeah, I like when they did that in X and Y, because it gives it a more, I guess, worldly feel. That, it's not just like only this thing exists in this one region. It's like, no, like a bunch of different types of animals all exist. Plus, it gives you a good reason to check out some of the older Pokemon as well.
Yeah. And getting a Lola version Pokemon is actually really cool. You'll see one pop up, like I caught an Alolan Rattata, and like in other games you see a Rattata and you're like, oh, it's a fucking Rattata, like,
yeah,
not another one, right? But this one pops up and it's actually different. It's like a different type. It looks different. You're like, that's actually cool. I want to catch this thing.
Yeah, it's got a little mustache on it, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't think those are going to change forms when you take it off, because there's a Meowth in the intro sequence. Also, I'm going to send you a message to make sure I didn't break any embargo on this afterwards once I read this document more thoroughly.
Yeah.
But there's like a Meowth at the beginning of the game, like you own a Meowth in your home, and it's not an Alolan Meowth. So it's not like this thing just transforms once it hits this region. Yeah. It seems like if you bring over Pokemon from your other games, it'll probably stay that way. And hopefully, I don't know if this will be the case, but hopefully if you end up transferring things out of this game into another one, it will stay Alolan form.
Yeah, I figured as much, because it's like going to another, country, and it's like, oh, well, this lizard is like this. Like, it doesn't magically transform, when you take it to another region, right? So it would make, I always figured that's the way it would have worked here. Like, it doesn't transform, it's just, this is the type it is on this island. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask something, like, as the guy who, we've covered it, I don't play the Pokemons, but I'm curious, like, let's say there's a listener out there that hasn't played a Pokemon game before. How do you feel that this one has a jumping in point if someone was new, or would you say no, probably better to start elsewhere in the series?
So, I'll have a better answer for this next week, since I've only played an hour and a half. I mean, so far it's a pretty slow start, so I think that anyone can get, it's too slow for me, I would say.
This is for new people. Like, Eli, the way I feel like is like introducing a new age for people. Like, not a new age, a new coming for Pokemon fans and for Pokemon Go jackasses. So.
There's a lot of new stuff in this game that I haven't gotten to yet, and I'm looking forward to seeing, but, if the intro is any indication, this is definitely going to be for any sort of people. I'm interested to see if this will get ported to the Switch, because I could feasibly see that happening. And yeah, it's definitely not a game that you need to know about Pokemon to begin playing.
Right on, neat.
But yeah, I definitely have to laud the developers on the presentation and like the music. I really like it. It's like a whole step up. It's on another level compared to the previous Pokemon games.
Nice. And like just for my own reference, I mean, I'm sure everyone listening to this knows this, but given that Pokemon kind of has different iterations and different versions and stuff to it, when it comes to like the canon core series, this is considered like the next canonized central entry in the series, right? This is not like an offshoot of a side story or something like that.
This is definitely a main series game, but it's not, each Pokemon game is contained in its story. It's not like this stuff crosses over. So it is a mainline Pokemon game. It's not a spin-off, but it's not like you need to play it. You don't need to know anything about any other Pokemon game.
Right. I was just making sure it's not like, I know there's like Pokemon Stadium and then there's
no.
Go and all that stuff. This is a real deal Pokemon
Yeah,
game.
and they're changing a lot of, like, just from these first 2 hours, there's a lot of stuff that's different in terms of names for stuff. You know, you don't have gym leaders from what it seems like. You know, the Poke Shop looks different. All these sorts of things.
Yeah, this is one game where I doubt I'll remember most of the Pokemon names. So I think as like all the way up to Gen 4, I could probably remember like the names of all the Pokemon if you showed me them. 5 is where I started to not care because I didn't really like them. And then 6, some of the names are just like, I forget what the dragon one is called. It's the dragon fighting Pokemon, but some of them are just like, I'm never going to remember these names. They're just, no. They're just like way too weird because they have like, Eli, they have like apostrophes and weird Hawaiian things in it. So it's going to be interesting. Like even the starter Decidueye is a bit of a crazy name to remember.
Yeah, well, I caught the Trump Pokemon. The guy with the Trump hair. I wonder if they were inspired by the presidential candidate. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Now the president-elect. My bad.
Yeah, it's not a candidate anymore. Apparently, Apparently, he's based off of like the detective. It's apparently based off of some character called a Gumshoe, which is apparently a detective, and it's also in like the name of a character in like a Phoenix Wright game. And they show the guy and he has like this jacket with like same spiky hairdo. It's really weird.
Fun fact, if you guys have ever seen my icon on any of the social networks that you're familiar with me on, that is in fact a game called Gumshoe. It doesn't look anything like that. Not the Boy and His Blob character in my icon. The NES like video game Gumshoe. You're not talking about that, right? He's like kind of like he's like a little detective guy with like a hat and a question mark over his head. No, different guy. Too bad. It's a great game. Okay, back to Gumshoe.
So yeah, Mike, I know you've been playing Pokemon. I guess for Eli's sake, so he doesn't get torn to shreds by Nintendo's lawyers or anything. I guess keep it within him. Don't be too specific, so he doesn't like sounds like we're breaking embargo or anything. But I mean, what has your experience been so far with the game? Because this bum got to buy it early, you jerk.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it is kind of slow, so I only like beat the first island. I haven't really played because then I did some Smash stuff on the weekend. So, but and I had work when I got it. But I mean, I think the battles are a little bit better. I like the fact that I can finally know what's effective and not effective because I feel like I've lost track of that since I only really care about the first 2 gens. I go, man, what is this effective to again? Or what attack is this? And I kind of like crapshoot it. The way it works, so the first time you battle them, you don't know, so it's like a regular Pokemon battle. Then after that, once you have your Pokedex data on it, you'll always know. So, it's pretty fair. I like that. I don't like my Rattata mustache, Pokemon is way worse, so. And then, I think the characters are pretty cool. The story is like, kind of interesting. I think these are like the funnest bad guys. I enjoy them. Like I kind of want to run into them all the time. They're like terribly stupid, like Saturday morning cartoon bad. But I think overall, like the world is like it's just cool. Like it's X and Y. Like it seemed like it was gonna be more than it was, but it wasn't. But this game, like I'm interested in playing more, which is better than what I had to say for X and Y. I just don't like the no gyms thing. I don't like these trials. They're not fun. They're like, hey man, freaking catch 4 Rattatas. And I'll be like, kill 4 Rattatas. I'm like, alright, whatever, man. And then I just kill them. I'm like, even if I only fought 2 trainers at a gym, I feel like it was more of a challenge than doing that. So.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was worried about, that it would, playing the demo, that it would just be like glorified fetch quests. So do you still fight like a decent amount of trainers and then a leader of some sort?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot more trainers on a path.
Okay.
You do fight a leader. Like you do fight him. He's the captain. They call that. They call him captains or leaders or something. But it's just like the quests are dumb. You have to do his quest so you could fight him or something like that, you know? They just, there's like, and he goes, alright, well, you beat the Guardian Alolan Pokemon, now let me test you. And you're like, alright, cool, you get this. Like, you know, like in badges used to be like, hey, you hit Pokemon level 30 will now listen to you. It's kind of the same thing, except you also get crystals now, which, are Pokemon items, so you get those Z moves. So it's kind of more of like, hey, I want to go to all these islands, collect all these special moves, and then put them on my best Pokemon kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it. Yeah, that's everything. I mean, if I played more, I'd definitely tell you, but I'm still playing Phoenix Wright 6. I'm trying to rush through it. I'm in the last case, so almost done with that bad boy.
Cool. So I think we'll end it there for Pokemon stuff. Unoclay, what have you been playing?
I finished Bayonetta. Mike likes to call it Bayonetta trash.
Yeah. How was that?
Trashinetta.
Tuesday was trash day, you know.
I liked it. I loved it. In fact, I loved the game. Bayonetta 1. This is, I didn't play 2 yet. I'm saving it up.
You're gonna have
finished
fun.
it. Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
I got you that game, and I could take it
Dude,
away.
I know, Matt. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. Honestly, for people who weren't listening like 40 episodes ago, Mike helped out with that by spotting it like when it was high demand for the 1 and 2 physical copy release. And while we were live on the air, Mike spotted it at a GameStop like 10 miles from my house, and it was the one copy that ever showed up in this area after it got in high demand, and I got it for not even full price, for like discount price. So
that's sick. Yeah, I just remember because I was looking like, I'm like, what's in a 150-mile radius of me? And I was like, it's one place by Clay.
Yup. It was jump. I think I told this story. There were some hoops I had to jump through because then they didn't know if they could sell it, and it seemed like someone was hiding it in the back room for someone else, and I had to like kind of stand there and bang my hand on the desk a little bit and be like, you said you're selling it to me, you know, and they did.
Sell it to me. You're Batman.
It was cool.
Now.
They acted like they couldn't find it, you know, and I think the guy, you know, I couldn't tell if the guy was hosing me or if he was like, you know, like if it was someone else screwing around, you know, that hid it from him, but he eventually found it. I'm going to say Bayonetta 2, for a little while, cause, you know, I have a feeling that play action is going to be pretty similar and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to overdo it. I did really find it fun to go back to the game after I finish it. It's one of those games that isn't always the case, but you know how anyone who's played the Bayonetta games knows that the combo system is friggin' insane. I mean, there's so many moves, you know, combo sets you can like learn if you bother, and a lot of like moves you can purchase, you know, to upgrade your character throughout the game. So I finished it without even nearly, purchasing all the items. I don't even have all the regular moves or the expanded move set. And I certainly don't know how to do all the combos, but you know, you get really good at the game by the time you're done, even if you're playing at a lower level. So right away I started over, on my save file and started like playing through the earlier levels. And you know, then it gets really fun because you can just completely cremate the earlier levels like really fast and get platinums and golds on like almost every match. Mm-hmm. So, I've been enjoying that.
Wait, I gotta ask you an important question, Clay.
Yeah.
Did you watch that? You know how GameStop sells old games now? Yeah. Did you watch that video where the guys try to sell Earthbound to GameStop?
No, I gotta check it out. I bet
it's terrible. It's cringeworthy because like the girl behind the counter doesn't even know what it is, and she like pulls out like a book like this game.
I totally.
She finally. Yeah, she's like looking it up, and she sees it, and you know the guys like before they do it, they're in the car and they're like, look, this game is, you know, obviously it's timeless and it's really expensive. Like GameStop sells it for $200. I mean, it's probably worth more. Like they have the box and manual, but they're not gonna offer that. They're just offering the cartridge. And so they go in there and she's like, oh, hold on, it takes like 5 minutes. They have her face blurred out, and they're like, all right, so what can we get for this? And she's like, $20 cash or $25 store credit. he's just like there with his mouth open. He's like, thank you. I think I'll hold on to it. Like,
like there's so many ways to react to that. Obviously, like it's it's almost like you should be mad at these people. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that, Matt. Like, you should be mad at these people for selling to GameStop. That's like if you have concert tickets to like the front row and then you go to like sell them to a scalper. Like that, you deserve a punch in the face. Like, come on, like sell it to a fan. Like, what are you doing? Like, like this,
well, you also make more money.
GameStop they offer $200 that you have to buy it, and then they offer a tenth of that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Oh my God. That's a travesty. I'll have to look that up. That sounds pretty funny.
It was great. It was great.
All right. Well, there's our viral video recommendation for the week. It sounds like.
Dude, I was shocked. I was like, I have to click this. I want to see what they're going to offer. I was like, let it be decent.
That is a shame because Earthbound's one of those games that, like, if you made me a reasonable offer, I would consider it for a box copy. But I mean, we all know what that stuff goes for that game. So forget about it. I don't even own it. I never owned it, even though I am definitely old enough to have seen it on the discount racks at Blockbuster Video when they were liquidating their SNES collection and could have owned me stacks of Earthbounds. I can still remember seeing it.
Don't worry. The only game I actually went through was Xenoblade Chronicles, and I still have it unopened. And then, of course, they make it for the 3DS, so I think that knocked the value down. So
yeah. But in other news, so I played a lot of Bayonetta. I'm going to play some more of it, in fact, because I really enjoy it. It's kind of like it's crack now that I finished it, and I've got all the moves down, and I can just demolish enemies. So it's kind of gets really fun to see how many combos you can string and all that stuff, and it's got a cool string combo reward system and all that stuff. But a new game hadn't played until just a couple days ago. It's the game I had mentioned a couple podcasts ago called Human Resource Machine, and it's by the guys that made World of Goo and Little Inferno. Neat team. It's got the same kind of art aesthetic as those other games. Like it's got the kind of creepy, cute music. It's got the creepy, cute characters, and it's more like Little Inferno than it is World of Goo. Don't let that turn you off, because we all know World of Goo is a masterpiece, whereas Little Inferno is a divisive game, sort of like a toy more than a game. But this is a true game, and Human Resource Machine, to put it in a summary, is very unlike almost any other game I've played, which is a good thing. I can say this: if you've ever coded or learned even a little bit of script and coding for like a computer, that's what it's like. And that sounds bad, because that doesn't sound like a fun game, but they've managed to gamify coding in a way that's kind of cool. And it is a real puzzler, a real brain strain, like kind of game where it's clever and it's tough at the same time. And it feels very rewarding when you solve scenarios. It's basically, the game is very straightforward. You're in an office working and the boss gives you a task, and imagine trying to make a script to automate something on your computer or to actual even basic programming. They say, we need you to move all the boxes from the left side of the room to the right side of the room in the smallest steps possible. And here's the commands you can use. And it's like walk, turn, left. That's not how the game works, but I'm giving an example you can imagine. Yeah. And then you have to create the program and run it. And if it breaks, it'll crash, and it'll show you, it'll say error at line, whatever, and you've got to figure out how to make your program run right. And it's very intuitive. It uses the control pad. It's one of the first, the gamepad. It's one of the first games in a long time where I turn off the TV and just play it on the gamepad, because you really don't need the TV. It just mirrors the gamepad. The music is ambient, but, nothing too special, just ambient music in the background. And a lot of times you find yourself sitting there for 10, 15 minutes puzzling over one board where you're trying to get the program right. If that doesn't sound like something you would enjoy, then you won't, because it doesn't deviate. I've gotten about a third to a half into the game, and it's not in any way changing its shape or format of whatever it's going to be. It just gets harder and harder and harder, where you find your brain exploding with oh my God, I cannot think how I would program this routine inside this subroutine to account for every variable. And the game rewards elegance in programming, the idea that you don't want to put extra,
as few lines possible.
Yeah, exactly. It's really clever, because it's really well made. It's really well made, because you're just you'll finish it and you'll complete the level and you could move on, but then you look at the bonus goals, just like World of Goo, you'd be like, I can't believe I built this tower that's like 40 goo balls high. And then you look at the bonus goals and you're like, it says like,
says what
is your first thought, you know, and then you start doing. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying the bonus goals really stretch you, and they're really fun because it encourages you to like do it better after you already struggled to get to a certain level. Then you find yourself struggling even more to like achieve these bonus goals and do more elegant solutions to the routines. It's fun. It's a cheap game. It's a cute little game, and it's got that ambiance the same as the other games with this mysterious plot that's kind of unfolding as you play. It's basically like very short cutscenes, giving you like little bits of a story that you're not quite sure what the story even is, other than you're a guy who works in an office and, you know, you're kind of like not sure what the story is other than that. You know, it seems mysterious. It seems a little dark per their usual storylines. And I'm enjoying it. So I recommend it if it sounds at all attractive to you. It's a good puzzle game. It really makes you think. And boy, you feel like a freaking genius when you solve those puzzles. You know, you feel very smart. You're just like, I am possibly the smartest person in the world because I finished level 8 of a video game.
Yeah, for anyone who likes puzzle games, there's nothing more puzzling than coding or programming, because you'll program something and you'll think it's right and it's wrong, and you won't understand why this line doesn't work, and then somehow you'll figure it out and still not understand, or something will work and you figured it's wrong but it does work, and you don't understand. So there's a couple of memes on the internet that are like this, like I forget how it goes, like, your coding went right, I don't know how this happened, or I don't know why this works. Your coding went wrong, I don't know why this works. It's just, it's fun and it's frustrating, but it's a good challenge.
It sounds like you've done a bit of it, and it's exactly like that.
Yeah.
This is reward.
It's literally programming.
Anyone who's thinking, anyone who's thinking, God, I would never want to play a game like this. The neat thing about this is that this is like a much lighter experience of it, and you can run your program instantly without waiting for a compiler or opening up another window or anything else like that. You know, it's like, it's literally like press a button on your screen, see the program execute, see what fails, and then hit a button to redo and like get back to like figure out what you need to fix with your program. You know, it's very slick. It's very quick. You know, I get a kick out of trying to build the program as perfectly as I can and never run it and then run it and see like if I can get it right the first try, which I'm only on level like 14 out of like, it looks like there's like 50 levels. Maybe, I have no idea. That's a ballpark. And like, it's already like way too complicated. You're like, the best that you can do is like write one of the routines for part of the program and then hope you got that part right and test it and then be like, okay, that part seems to be working. Now I need to insert like 40 lines in between there, like to make the little guy do like all these other things before he finishes the routine. So yeah, so it's neat. You know, it's a good time. It's a good way to make your brain feel better about itself if you're feeling like you play too many games or you just mash the buttons. This is the exact opposite. This is stare at the screen and think, you know, and test and think, you know. So nerds will like it. You know, I don't know who else will like it. You know, but you'll feel dutifully nerdy if you play this one. So.
Winnie the Pooh likes it. He likes to think.
I wish I could do a good poo voice. I can.
Banjo, close enough. So I guess we'll move on to some news now. So Nintendo finally confirmed that Wii bundles are ending production, at least in Japan. I don't know why people were really questioning this. Like, the writing was on the wall anyway. Like, the thing's dead. New system's coming out. Whatever. Miitomo is getting new features. I don't know why. Literally, I checked. They're getting new features 7 months later. I don't know. Apparently, I've heard, I think it was from the IGN podcast or some other podcast, that Nintendo is still getting like people to play Miitomo. They're just not making money off of it. I don't know how. Whatever. I don't know, it's confusing. It's gonna link to Super Mario Run, so I guess they had to update it in some way. Curious, Eli, is the new Animal Crossing content like gonna make you jump back in the game, or is it too little too late for you because it's like 4 years later?
So the biggest problem is, number one, my Animal Crossing game's back in Denver.
Oh.
So, but I am going
If you
back
had
to
it.
But I am going back to Denver for Thanksgiving. So the question is, am I going to bring it back? And I don't know. Cause I put, I think, 80 to 100 hours into New Leaf. Back when it came out, I reviewed the game.
Mhm.
And I kind of like played it for a solid month, several hours a day. And then I put it down, and that was enough for me. And I kind of just like, all right, I'm done with this game. And that's just how I generally treat my game. So I doubt I'll be coming back to it. I appreciate all the new updates. I think that maybe 5% of the people that bought the game will actually end up downloading this patch, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think the more logical reason is they're testing this because the Switch's version of Animal Crossing will probably have all these features. So, I mean, especially when you got stuff to take on the go, you got, there's a lot of possibility for this sorts of things. So yeah, I mean, I'm the type of gamer where when I'm done with a game, I don't come back to it. And I think a lot of people won't come back to it. I don't think it's going to sell any new Animal Crossing units.
Yeah.
But, nice that they did it. Probably didn't cost them a lot, and I'm sure the Switch's version will have all this stuff.
Well, I think it might be used as a way to get people interested in Animal Crossing again before their smartphone app comes out, because I think that's supposed to come out somewhere in the first few months of the year.
Of course.
That makes sense. And
that's
apparently they're
the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and apparently they're reselling this game just with a new label on it. So that's, I guess, part of the reason why they want to add new content. Here, we're bringing it back in stores, and maybe we can get some more 3DS sales or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why. You'd think most people would have bought it. But anyway, we actually have some somewhat interesting Switch news. No more calling it NX.
Right.
I keep calling it the NX Switch.
It's NS now, so it's still close enough. But anyway, a couple of retailers have been leaking, well, maybe not leaking, but have started listing prices for the thing. So one example is in Toys R Us Canada, they listed it at was it $350 Canadian dollars, and in UK retailer Game apparently is listing a base unit for £200. So I'll just convert it to US dollars rather than just list all the game prices. So basically there's apparently going to be a basic unit for roughly $250 American, and then a premium model with more storage in a game for $300, and then controllers are going to be the standard $60 roughly. And apparently they want all of their prices to be close to the actual conversions, so not just in the UK it's 200 pounds, and in the States it's $200, but technically it doesn't work the same way. But according to the person who's writing this, they want to keep it on the same pricing structure to go along with the fact that the console is region free. So I guess wherever you would buy it, it's still going to be the same dollar value. But yeah, so if this is the price, how do you guys feel about the price?
Give it to me. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm just gonna buy it. So
I think that's I think it's an excellent price, but once again, it makes me scared about the power of the console. I think $250 is really great. And the Xbox One now is pretty much selling for $250 with the game, the original. So I see where the power can come, but of course this is not an Xbox One. This is a tablet thing, way smaller, more expensive to pack the same amount of shit into. So I don't know. Still concerned about power. I'm sure that, who knows? Maybe Nvidia figured out a way to pull some magic. Stuff like using the cart to reduce the amount of RAM required because of the transfer rate is so quick. Maybe that's something they've looked into. There's things that maybe they're working some sort of magic. But yeah, once again, I mean, I'm willing to pay personally $100 more to get a powerful console.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate if it works out and end up being that way. But, I'm going to give Nintendo the benefit of the doubt right now. So if it's $250 and the thing can play games on other consoles and it's got achievements and everything, then fine, make it $250. I'll be thrilled.
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same as you. I'm wondering, do you think $250 will be low enough for people to dip in as like a second console? Like, yeah, sure, I'll pick it up. It's cheap enough, or is it not cheap enough?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because I mean, the Wii U was like $300 and $350 when it came out, and it's like no one's gonna buy this because it's still too expensive for what you're getting. But do you think this is a low enough price for people or for more people to dip in?
Well, I mean, if the games are there and it can play games on other systems and it's comparable, then I don't see why it wouldn't be able to sell, especially if it has the online infrastructure there and everything like that. I don't think the Wii failed was just because of the price, although that was definitely a factor. It was also because, it didn't have games and it wasn't equal in power to the other systems and everything.
I mean, the Xbox One S is $300. People I'm friends with are like other gamer friends, like, oh, I do want an Xbox One, but I don't want it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know if that $300 is deterring them and all that. But I think $250 for something that's new is a great price because it doesn't feel like as much of a risk. Like even if $300, it's so dumb that $250 and $300 is such a big difference, but at the same time, numbers scare people who are like aren't looking past like retail point.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh yeah, this, that, and this, and then it also works in the other way where it's like, oh, maybe it's $310 for the more powerful version. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I could throw an extra $50. Like nobody wanted a Wii U Basic, you know what I mean? Everyone wanted the Deluxe. It was $50 difference, so I kind of see it in the same way like that. But I think 250 is a great thing for a new system, like because it's brand new, people are gonna jump ship right away because it's that cheap.
And I think the other factor to remember is that like they're saying 3DS isn't going away, but hello, and I mean there's not going to be a viable Nintendo handheld, and we all know the 3DS has turned out to do well for itself throughout most of its lifespan in terms of its success. So when maybe not right out the gate, but the big factor is when in a year when people realize, if you want a Nintendo handheld, this is what you buy now. It's not a matter of deciding, well, I'll get the 3DS and I'll get the 3DS version of Smash Bros. And I'll get I'll get all the 3DS stuff. It's like, this is all there is for Nintendo. So this is what I'm going to buy. They're eventually going to throw down for it. I think that might not hit on day one, but those people that, had a great time with 3DS or DS, and are starting to miss it once it doesn't have any new games at all anymore. It'll
definitely.
It'll be a big selling point. It's not a choice anymore. It's not a choice. It's like, hey, go buy Nintendo's new one thing. And yeah, it might be a little more than they want to pay, but it's they're gonna tell themselves. At least that's what Nintendo's gambling on. They're gonna tell themselves, well, if I spend that little bit more, yeah, sure, it's more than a standard handheld, but I get a whole new console for my television too. Out of the deal. So. It's kind of a win-win.
Yo, Clay, that reminded me that for 3DS when it first came out, I think it was $250. You know what I mean? I mean, most it's like $199, $179, and like $150 and all that. And people bought the XL when it was $199, like that, and people bought the new 3DS, like not as much, but they were willing to spend. And that's $200 for the handheld. Now, like, it just doesn't deviate too far from that. Oh, I'm paying less because it's handheld and I'm paying more because it's console. It's like the perfect in between price. So
it's what Nintendo's betting the farm on. It's what they're betting the farm on. They're like,
look, the 3D, the mobile, I mean, handheld market is big. I feel they're gonna lose. Like, that market's weird. It's like, there's a lot of money in it, but at the same time, it's also projected to go down always because of mobile gaming. But it still sells well. You know what I mean? It's like a weird, like, double entendre kind of thing where it's like, no, this place is going down, but it's going up. And you know what? Because like this is Nintendo's one big console. I feel like they're gambling a little bit of both. Like they're gonna lose some I only buy Nintendo console people, and they're gonna lose some I only buy Nintendo handheld shit. There's a lot of people who just have 3DSs, no Wii U's. You know what I mean?
Right. But that's almost the converse. That's where I'm just thinking that it puts all their eggs in one basket, and that helps because the people that are like, there's a lot more 3DS only people out there. So they're going to kind of be more likely to get on board with this because it's kind of like, well, this is going to be a super powerful handheld, you know? So, you know, that it's a selling factor. I mean, let's keep in mind, guys, one thing, we're all assuming this price point is right. So just to put it out, you know, this could be way off, and then all the things we said just change, you know, like, so it's, who knows, you know?
To try and give it some credit, the one from the UK retailer from Game, I guess you want to call it a rumor, is coming from Laura Dale, who's also put out a lot of Switch info before, and I don't remember checking all of it, but she's gotten things right before, so I'm pretty confident that this is gonna be the price. Like, it seems around the right price. Same with, like, going off of the Nvidia Shield, which is made by the same people. Like, it seems within that ballpark. So I don't think if it's any different, I doubt it'll be that much different. It's not going to jump up $100. It'll be like maybe within $50 difference, I'm going to say.
We will see, won't we? We will see. When do we think we get the price? Do we think that's in January? You know, they don't.
It has to, because the thing's coming out in March. So they said January is like their day to talk all about it, and they're not going to say anything else for the rest of the year. So I think that's when they'll, you know, start blowing everything out of the water. Like, hey, it's January, New Year. Here's the date. We're starting.
It would be really funny if, like, on Christmas morning they unveiled the price. And, like, the whole ad was like, hey, kids, don't spend that Christmas money yet. Like, just telling everyone to save their money. Like, totally,
what's in the box? You don't know yet. Just wait.
You don't even know, but don't spend that Christmas money.
All right, I'm going to head out really quick. Sorry, guys, I could only stay for a little bit, but next week I'll hopefully be around for the whole time and talk more about Pokemon and stuff.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thanks for dropping it.
Now that douche nugget is out of the way, no. Every time someone leaves,
Eli's gone.
No one will ever do it to me because I record this thing. Dang it! You're all gonna have to talk to me off the podcast.
We already do.
We need to get a slamming door sound effect for, like, when people leave early, so we can be like, and thanks for coming in, buddy.
There's not too much else news, but I'll still bring it up. The remaining Smash Brothers amiibo that were announced, like, I don't know, 70,000 years ago. Apparently it's delayed for the Smash Brothers Switch port, which apparently isn't gonna come, or is gonna come within the first 6 months of the Switch's launch, not necessarily launch day. Apparently it's gonna be basically the Wii U version with all the DLC. Doesn't mention any new content or the 3DS content, which would be unfortunate, but I don't know. I'm not really expecting a whole blowout. I think a lot of people will be disappointed.
Let me ask you this. Like, you're sounding very confident about what you're knowing about this Smash Brothers port. Like, first of all, is it confirmed that Smash 4 is being ported? Like, I'm just checking our math here.
It's not, but I mean, like,
it was sense.
Kind of.
Like, think about it logically, Matt. Like,
just checking.
Yeah.
Just checking.
So
like how many years it takes to develop the Smash system, and this new system. Okay, Smash Wii U came out 2 years ago, and that was when the Wii was kind of dying. Like, Brawl kind of came out in the middle of the Wii, like year 2 in it. Now, even though the Wii U has a way less life cycle, NX is just coming out. So, like, why are they gonna throw away a Smash game they spent 2 years developing?
I'm just checking. I was just checking. I wanted to make sure we didn't miss some news here or something like that. I'm thinking, like,
nothing's confirmed. It's just it's coming from someone who brought up the rumor before. To give it some, I guess, credibility, the person claimed Super Mario Maker, Splatoon, Mario Kart 8, and Smash Brothers were going to get ported. And in the Switch, and this was like a year ago, this person, Emily Rogers mentioned it, and in the Switch, like, reveal thing, they showed off Splatoon with a couple of new things, Mario Kart 8, so at least 2 of them. But basically the gist is that Nintendo has these online communities, or games with online communities, that are still, like, strong and going, so they wouldn't really want it to die with, like, the last system. But anyway, besides that, as far as the amiibo goes, basically the amiibo apparently have been delayed until this port comes out, which I guess makes sense, so they can like tie it together rather than just like releasing it randomly in the wild. The person mentions it, or Emily Rogers, I think it's Emily Rogers, whatever, too late to check. They mention just Bayonetta and Cloud. They don't mention anything about Corrin, which is the Fire Emblem character, which I'm pretty sure has to come. Like, it would be weird if they have literally all but one character. So I'm sure that person will come probably just separately. But we have actually seen like a teaser of Bayonetta's amiibo from Platinum Games. They posted it on their blog before. So I guess look forward to those amiibo eventually, as per usual.
That's like a good.
Wait. Did we talk about the Unoclay special, the NES Classic?
Did not.
Because guess what? It was available.
Don't associate that crap with me. Don't associate that crap with me. No.
Yo, it's a mini Unoclay system. But freaking, it was available actually today again, and then New York City's Nintendo World, or whatever they call it now, NY Nintendo or something. I don't even know, but Nintendo World. But yeah, obviously, it definitely sold out today. But they were on Twitter like, hey, it's available at Nintendo World in New York at 5 p.m., so you can get your restock here. But
yeah, that's pretty crazy. That whole shortage is like a news story in itself. I wanted to comment and say on the amiibo thing before we jump onto that. The amiibo thing is kind of good because like I still have so many boxes. We talked about this a million times, but now I kind of want the Bayonetta one because I'm like, now I get who she is, and I'm like, oh, she's cool. I don't really like fighting her in Smash, but you know, like I don't know.
She's broken trash and doesn't belong in that game.
I hear you.
Of it, yeah.
It's too weird of a character to not have the amiibo of.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't have the Ryu like amiibo because like I really didn't like playing as him, and I don't have like this huge. I mean, I do have a big connection to Street Fighter. I played a ton of it when I was younger, but I don't have any like modern connection with it, so it didn't like make me have to run out and get a Ryu. But like, but yeah, the Bayonetta one now I'm kind of like, as long as she's sexy, I'm gonna want that little piece of you know. So we'll see. I'm like, but I'm kind of glad they're delaying it because I'm like on this like amiibo freeze where I'm like, nah, I don't need any more of these things. Like, you know, kind of, you know. But yeah. So Mike, you're not getting the mini NES, are you? Like, or Matt?
I'm trying to get it for my dad, to be honest. Like, I want it because it looks kind of fun, but I want to get it for my dad, to be honest.
Right. Matt, what about you?
Nah. I think I own any of the games that I would be interested in, and if I wanted any of the other ones, I'd probably just buy them individually.
Right.
It's one of those things where, even though there's a lot of value in it, because each thing is worth so little, I would not hold. How do I word this properly? Each thing basically has so little value that I probably wouldn't play it as much as if I bought like a $60 game or something.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like,
no,
even
I understand.
yeah.
I understand what you're saying. I personally, yeah, we've talked about it before. I personally would rather buy, I'm the complete opposite, ironic. I'd probably rather spend stupid amounts of money to buy the games from the system I don't already have for my NES. Like, where I'm like, oh, like there's literally like 3 maybe in the whole package that I don't have. I don't even know. I never sat down and did the math, but it's like, what? Yeah, I mean, my Christmas list for this year, I literally have top loader NES on my Christmas list to my wife that I'm like, and you know, I have to explain like what that is. I'm like, now let me show you a picture, and it's got to look like this. It's got to have this funny
Make sure
dog
it's not yellow.
Chick. Yeah, well, if it's yellow, it's okay, but make sure they give you a discount. You know, like, you know, like all these, like, if you meant like because the plastic is turning yellow or something like that, you know, I actually am not super caring about the aesthetics of a system like that. I really want it mainly because when I have my friends over, you know what's like the biggest faux pas in gaming? When you can't get one of your NES games to load up and your buddies are there and you're like, yeah, dude, let's play some Double Dragon. It's going to be sweet. We're going to play it like old school, like when we're kids. And then you're sitting there blowing on it, which I know doesn't work. Don't write in and tell us that doesn't work. I know. and you're like, oh, hang on, I'll get it to work in a second. And all you're getting is blue screens. And you're just like, just total, like, play the sad trombone super fail music. You're just like, yeah, I can't get this game from 32 years ago to work, so I guess we'll go play some Smash 4, I guess, you know?
Yeah, you know what's a great game to play with friends? It's not completely old, but you gotta play Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey, right?
I never played that one. Was that 64?
It's sick. Yeah, it's 64. Dude, it's sick. I made my friend play. He's a big hockey guy. He had no idea what was going on, because it's like super fast, intense, like NBA Street Jam version of hockey. So you can make the puck on fire. The goalie becomes a brick wall sometimes.
Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. Yeah. Awesome.
It's awesome, dude. To be honest, like I make my friends play it all the time. Like we go in and it's arcade style. So like the first 2 player ports are on the left side and the other 2 on the right side. You can never all 4 be in the same team because it's 3-on-3 hockey kind of thing. But it's arcade style, so it's mad fun. It's like honestly, I don't expect a lot of people to play it. It's kind of like Snowboard Kids. Like everybody knows of it or played it, but never really did. Like Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey is the hidden party game to play.
And there's your N64 recommendation of the week from the podcast. I have a hard time going back to N64 because the way it looks, I've talked about it before. It's my least favorite Nintendo system in terms of retro action, but if I ever see a cheap copy of it, I'll grab it.
Dude, it's super cheap. I think it's only worth like $4, $5 in the market.
For sure. Sports games are always so cheap, so it's just like you need someone to tell you to get it. Something like this, you know. It's like, well, why would I want any of these garbage sports games from like 20 years ago, you know? But
yeah. Like you wouldn't want Ken Griffey Jr.'s baseball. All that.
Hey, what's wrong with Ken Griffey?
Yo, and the intro song, call me.
Yeah, like, my friend has that and he showed me and it was just amazing.
You can play.
That's like the only reason I own
it. You can play as Team Nintendo and they're like all like super jacked and they like all hit home runs. They're like totally broken.
Are they the Seattle Mariners?
No, it's the Mariners, and then you can put the cheat code in and play as Team Nintendo.
That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah, I'm pretty mean. I'm pretty decent at NBA Jam. So when you said NBA Jam style hockey, I'm like, that sells it for me. That I'm like, oh man, I love whooping up on my sporty friends who think they're good at video games and be like, look, I hate sports, but this is one place where I'm gonna just kick your ass. Like I'm just gonna like get on fire and just like dunk and dunk and dunk. You know. I was at the arcade. This is a true story. Just like a week ago, me and my buddy from out of town, we went to the barcade in my city, and they're sports guys. They're sports guys, and they wanted to play NBA Jam. Was the one game they wanted to play. So they're playing, and in a nutshell, like my one friend gets really mad in the third quarter because he's down like 25 points or something to my other buddy, and he just like he walks away and he isn't going to finish the game. So I put in a quarter, and I go, you have to buy my drink if like I can come back from this. And I you know, without drawing it out, you know how the story ends. Like I literally came back with a 3-pointer at the buzzer and like won the game. And this guy's just like, how the fuck did you do that? I'm like, I like literally simply know how to play the game. Like you don't know how to play. You're just pressing shoot. You know what I mean? He's just like running around pressing shoot, slightly more competent. I'm like, maybe you forgot about he's on fire.
You can't stop a man who's on fire.
Nice. And you know I was playing as Philadelphia, so I had it in the bag from the get-go. So.
Oh my god.
All right.
So,
enough about games.
So we do have one last piece we'll finish off with. So when they showed off the Switch, they said we'll get to play the Switch at some point before it releases. And they didn't really give any details, but apparently we do have some details now, at least for Japan. In February, there's an event taking place in Japan. Apparently I didn't write down the specifics, but regardless, there's something happening in Japan in February, and they're gonna have the Switch available to play there. So I'm wondering if February, I guess, is the month that they're just gonna start demoing it out to, all the countries.
Sounds that way. Yeah, I'd heard that from someone else too, so it sounds like there will be a hands-on chance with it. Hopefully it's a good hands-on experience for people. You know, this is stupid, but I'm not even going to bother because I'm going to buy it anyway. I wanted the first time I touched this sucker to be like when I got it in my own living room. That's barring any secret leak of the system to anybody in the city that I would accidentally end up at their house and play it beforehand. That would be a different situation, but
Yeah.
you know. What about you, Mike? You gonna test it out if anyone has one in front of you, or go to a demo event and check it?
Oh hell yeah! You know,
Okay.
being freaking, I always tell myself I am, and then like I'll go to a store and I'm like, oh, maybe I should have went to the event, but maybe I think Nintendo World maybe they'll do something real cool, and maybe I'll like try to go like 3 days after, like because the first day I'll probably be ridiculously packed. So hopefully I can do something cool with it, see how it is, record it, and make you guys jealous.
I'm hoping they like put it in a bunch of retail stores like Best Buys all over the place, and not just like here it is on a bus, because that's not enough. Well, I mean they did that with the Wii U when it was coming
They did
out.
it with the 3DS when I was in
really?
Grand Central Station. They only had that one thing with like 4 Street Fighter 4 3DS copies, and it was like, well, here it is. Or you can play Pilot Wings. I was like, no one's playing Pilot Wings, first off. And second off, man, I think the only guy who's going to demo this.
Yes, I
Pilot
remember.
Wings blows.
Yeah, I remember they did it in the Wii U in, I think it was December or maybe November, and it was like at this bus thing that I went and played it for like 10 minutes and played it with some dumb annoying kids. But I'd like to play the Switch, but it's also in February, which is like the middle of winter here, or at least near the end, and that means there'd be a crap ton of snow. Yeah, so when the Wii U came out, or when I tried out the Wii U in like some bus that totally wasn't shady, there wasn't really any snow on the ground, so going to Toronto was fine. But in February, like there's going to be like a bunch of snow all over the place, so unless they put it at our local Best Buy, which I doubt because I live in a little schmuck town, so that's not going to happen. I may or may not play it.
Yeah, you guys don't screw around with snow up there in Canada. Like down here, like we barely get snow anymore, but like up where you are, dude, yeah, I can see that being a factor. I was in Hamilton in Canada one time in the winter, and boy, that was the coldest I have ever been. I was like, this is nuts, this place. Like, what do they call this place? Canada? This place is crazy. I'm out of here. I'm going back to tropical Philadelphia. So, yeah, I can see that. I guess you guys like probably don't even move. You probably just like stay in your igloos, like, and don't you have power or anything like all winter. Just drink your Molsons and whatever.
We got to hand crank our generators. Like it's really tough.
Man, oh man,
Matt wears tennis rackets and shoes. So.
Yeah,
man, this is great. I wish I was a good cartoonist. I'd be drawing a total picture of Matt right now for the picture for the blog. But I can draw.
I wish I could do art well. Just be like, hey, here's what you look like.
Good stuff. So Matt, you're not going to be trying it. I'm not going to be trying it. We'll have to listen to Mike talk about it. I just still get a kick out of like opening the box like a kid and like not knowing exactly what I'm getting out of stuff. I kind of still, to me, that's like a big part for real of the experience. So it's why I never like play demos. It's why like if I know I'm going to buy something, it's why I don't go to like hardware demos. And it's one of those things that when I think about people in the industry, like getting an advanced copy of a game or getting hands on with the hardware, I think, grass is always greener, but I don't know if I would actually like it because then it kind of takes away from the like fun of just being a player and like opening that box on launch day and plugging it in and like being completely like fresh, to it or something like that. So
being a virgin and touching it for the very first time.
Honey, touch it for the very first time. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Talking about video games.
Sexy video games.
Ooh.
All right, I think we'll about round it out there for this week.
Hey, I mean, I'm in the middle of a court case right now.
No spoiling. I guarantee he's going to say objection at some point. I'm just going to spoil it for you right now.
Oh, that's me.
All right, Mike is out.
All right. So you can find me at the Mango Viking on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can find Eli at Palasalon on Twitter or on Nintendo Enthusiast or enthusiast.gg. He'll have his Pokemon review out at some point by this Friday, and he'll probably be half dead. And then you can catch Mike at Gaming Night Live, and I forget his Twitter name. It's Troyfulbuster. And Unoclay, where can people find you?
You can find me on this podcast making snarky comments, and you can always check in over at my IGN, Unoclay1, and I'm on the Nintendo networks, Wii U and 3DS as Unoclay, Unoclay, and I'm always happy to get a new friend request or play some games.
Cool. So wherever you're listening, you can find us at Just Another Castle on every platform on the internet. Hit us up with your questions or interest as a guest on Twitter at Just Another Castle, or message me directly at the Mango Viking. So until next time, crap ice cream. No, I'm gonna leave it in. It'll be funny. I rewrote the last thing just to save on myself from saying literally every website. Yeah. And I think I screwed up how I rewrote this last part.
Let me see if I can even
I didn't finish it. I wrote. This is a common thing I do when I'm writing. I'll write something and then I'll try to rewrite something, but I'll forget to erase part of it. So I wrote, "So until next time, we'll see you next time." That. I just started reading it. I'm like, "This is wrong. Abort."
You just gave it away that you even have a script, because you always sound so natural. I didn't know you used a script for it. So that's.
I half read it. I've memorized it by now. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, Destructoid, and IGN. I have that down.
Man. Bing bang boom, bing bang boom, and leave gaming to Nintendo. I couldn't say the rest. I'd be like, and leave gaming to Nintendo.
Yeah. So until next time, remember, leave luck to the heavens and leave gaming to Nintendo.